Turn it over.
We're live.
Hey,
Here we are.
here we are. Oh my.
All right.
Hello. Oh,
Hi.
you got the ears.
Yes.
All right. So those who are watching me, if you go find Dahlia in her side, she's got cute little cat ears.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see.
I'm the only animal that's here today.
Yeah.
So, we're here today with Maribeth Decker, and so we're live in two places, so if you could just bear with us. So we try to work this out. So we'll be looking at both cameras. It'll be strange. But,
But that's our world.
yes, here we
right?
are, right? So, that said, thank you for coming.
Sure.
And continuing to come back to the show and host these
place.
events. Yeah, we love having you. So I thought it'd be a good idea for people to kind of get to know you and us in the process. So can you let's start with how you got started? What's that story about?
Oh, that's a good story. Well, because I started out as doing energy healing and for people.
Okay.
I'm kind of looking at you guys too, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Started with energy healing for people, and I became a Reiki master, and my dogs started communicating with me.
Interesting.
Now, I have a lot of Reiki master friends and people, but I didn't hear that from a lot of other people. I had dogs. My dog Timmy came. He had passed, and he was a full body apparition in the dining room. I know some of you have heard the story before, but I still love it. I'm at the stove. I'm cooking dinner, and out of the corner of my eye, there's Timmy. He's sitting in the dining room, and he's doing as usual with one ear up, one ear down, smiling at me.
Wow.
And I turn to him because I'm sorry, I'm going this way. And I yell, Timmy, and he vanishes. But in that second, I knew pets survived death.
Yeah.
They're still intact, and he came back and said he loved me.
Aww.
So there, and then but at that time it was like, that's great, let's get dinner, you know? So fast forward, Tibor, my rescue boy, I was sitting on a couch with him.
Now, is Tibor the one in your photos?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
That's Tibor. And he came from a pretty tough background. He has some fear, aggression, and things like that. And I kept seeing this man in a big thick suit, and there's a name for it, and you people who know it, you can type it in, and they're teaching like a German Shepherd to come and attack the guy.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like that, like the police dog training.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I saw it more than once, and I'm like, you're such a sweet dog now. What the heck's going on? Because it was a vision that came into my mind more than once, and that's when I started said, I think this is intriguing. I want to learn out how to do it. And that's when I started training and then talking to animals on purpose.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I am going to have you, we keep knocking the
We
table,
do.
and I think I don't want to lose anything here, but that's a great story.
Yeah.
I can say my experience with animal communication. So so I was going through my Reiki training, and I feel like we all do you feel like when you were younger, that you still kind of like had a sense of what was going on with animals? Because I felt like I did.
I felt a real connection with animals, but I wouldn't call it animal communication. I loved nature.
Okay.
I loved animals. I loved hanging out and seeing who was in the creek by the house.
Okay.
So, I played with a squirrel. It was clearly, we were playing.
So it almost sounds like Reiki maybe enhanced what was already there, as much as the case with maybe all of us and that's sort of like everybody does Reiki, right? But perhaps you've got the ears now
over there. Oh, that's so funny.
Perhaps with the way that Reiki works, like it just wakes everything up and enhances everything that's already present, right? So
Hi.
Thank you. Just had my smoothie drop.
Wow, lucky you.
So I know with mine, I was doing a lot of energy healing, energy work with Reiki. I was also trained as a master. And then I was working on a lady one day whose dog had just passed, and he was in the room, and I was like, this is really strange. And I said, I started describing the animal, and she was like, how do you know that? And I was like, I really don't know. And then opportunity presented itself where there was a dog who was very sick, and he started just giving me information, and that just turned into this like sort of helping him towards the end kind of scenario. But I never felt like called to do that as a focus. So what made you feel like focusing on animals was the thing to do?
I found that when I worked with people through their animals, I was in the place of unconditional love with the animal and the person, and being in that space was so lovely. I also found that connecting with animals is delightful and interesting. And I really enjoyed finding out what's going on, just what's in their head and things like that. Yeah.
Do you offer Reiki when you're doing your communications? Do they seem pretty receptive, or do you just have to ask every time?
We get to the point. I do a lot of different modalities, but I usually do some kind of energy healing for them and for the human, because it's a family issue sometimes. That each person, each soul is probably a better word. Each soul is bringing some energy into the room or the relationship, and sometimes it's the human that needs a little bit of releasing of some emotions, and then the animal, maybe the animal as well.
Okay, so that's kind of like the scenario where you have animals in a home where maybe the energy's chaotic, or there's just arguments happening constantly, and what ends up happening is that the animal ends up taking on the stress of the home and the people, and perhaps getting sick. Is that more what you're finding, or have you...
that's one of the things that happen. I don't focus on that. Animals, how do we say it? Sometimes that happens.
Okay.
Sometimes they're doing behaviors that are upsetting, and it has everything to do with the human, and sometimes it has nothing to do with the human because it's their past experience.
Gotcha.
Like any of us brought a rescue dog or a rescue cat into the house. We didn't cause those issues,
Speaking of past, do you ever get a sense of who they were before? Like, do you get past lives with the animals too?
Very
cool.
Usually my own, but I've helped other people realize where they're, when they were in a relationship with this animal before.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah, and very reassuring, I'm sure, just connecting at the heart and the to realize just that the love and the relationship transcends this lifetime. It's just, you already mentioned that with getting some past animals as well.
Yeah.
So it's almost, so I would call you like a medium. Tense word, right?
Yeah. Those abilities are there. What my focus is always on is the present situation. And if some other information comes in that's helpful, we go there, but it's not, was my cat Elizabeth II? Or, Elizabeth I, or, just...
Right.
Yeah.
So this moves us into a great space as far as connecting. I know, at least with my process, the less that I try, the less that I, try to replicate what someone else is doing, it just sort of pops up. And it's like, oh, there's the information. I'm primarily clairaudience, so usually the dog starts talking, and I'm like, all right, well, there's only two of us in this space, so it's not you, it's not me.
Yeah.
But so what does your process look like, if you could describe it?
Well, what I ask for a picture. Generally, I do a lot of remote because I have people all over the country.
Awesome.
Okay. So I ask for a picture ahead of time, and I connect in and just look and grab information from the picture. It's usually rather symbolic. I'm not sure that at that point I'm actually connecting with the animal. I'm just connecting with the energy of the picture, and that gives me some information. Then when I'm with the animal, I clear myself. I'm like, let go of those emotions, those thoughts, those physical feelings. And now there's a process where I quiet and start to feel into the animal. And just for fun, a lot of times I ask them to come into my office in my mind to see how they show up.
Okay.
And they do it symbolically, and then we start asking questions, and I get physical feelings if people are interested in how the body's doing.
Oh, okay.
Medical, so there's medical scans, or that's also called a medical scan, or their emotions or thoughts. I do get pictures as well. Just depends kind of on the animal.
Yeah, what they want to give you.
Yeah.
So just like with people, I suppose animals give messages in different ways. Like how I'm a hearing person, but you sound like you're a visual person. So perhaps animal to animal, they might just start talking to you, or they might, and you just kind of allow that process.
I do.
Okay.
It seems to me that animals that live in the house seem to be able to have conversations with me easier than if we're just checking out with wild animals. And I think I've tried that a few times and gotten interesting stuff. But yeah, they show me, and they show me, or I hear words, or we have conversations. And yes, I'm open to whatever I get.
Awesome. Then that probably just broadens the spectrum of what you can receive, right?
Yes.
So that's probably great advice for all of us. I mean, any of us who are wondering, how to connect in any capacity, it's nice to know that there are different options.
And my advice, and I'm teaching a class right now, is to start where you're at. Mm-hmm. So, because I started with just like a knowing, or a sensation in my body, or an emotion. So that's where so you get that, and you realize it's real. Then you keep practicing, you see what else might show up. Then the visual might show up. Or
Gotcha.
The voice might show up.
And I just realized I said clairsentient when I meant clairaudient. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
The clairs. So it sounds like, just to give context to what you're saying in terms of like people who are out there wondering, it sounds like you started out primarily claircognizant, that inner knowing.
Exactly.
And then you slid into clairsentience, where you could feel the ailments of the animals.
And the emotions, too. Okay,
yes,
so emotions were really easy.
Yeah. And then, so just on that note, do you feel like you had to be an emotional person in order to understand what was coming through, or was it like logical, like, oh, I can process this as sadness?
I would
or
think
happiness?
People who knew me would say I'm one of those people who are too sensitive all through life, so, which they now call empaths, so we get a nice name now.
Right. Nice little label, put it in a box. Doesn't sound so crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't sound so crazy. Yeah.
Very cool.
And then other things started popping up. I started paying attention and trying it out and seeing if it was true.
So takeaways from this, starting where you're at in terms of animal communication, if you should have that desire to, even, and probably beyond animal communication of any kind, starting where you're at, letting that kind of blossom forth, and then more asking for other things to happen, like, okay, well, now I'm seeing it, but I'd love to hear this, or, kind of expanding in that way.
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like that was my story as well. Like I said, I do less with animals, although they're so open, and it's almost like I'm sure you find when you walk into a room, they kind of gravitate towards you, like, this lady knows what I'm talking about.
Too. It's so fun to go on walks, too, because we always are like...
Great.
We're buddies, right? We've only met for a microsecond, but...
Oh, that's awesome. It'd be interesting to find out if you feel more led to work with animals if you had a lifetime as an animal more recently than somebody else who, say, was like a person for several lifetimes after being an animal. So there's that sort of disconnect. It'd be interesting. Have you ever explored that?
I haven't come up with a theory yet. There's some strong theories that people are never animals.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also theories that people said I think my dog was my grandfather.
Interesting.
And I don't have enough experience to say, well, I think this is the truth. So the answer is I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw my hat in this because I have my own theories.
Please tell me.
I think that we have it backwards. I think that the human vessel is one of the earlier stages of the soul's journey. And that as we gravitate closer to source, to all that is, to releasing this vessel, what we become is animals, then plants, and then nothing. Well, not nothing, but energy, right? And this theory is based in the fact that we have all the tools to communicate, and we do so, and we overthink, and we process, and we go through our emotions, right? And it just seems like utter chaos. And we're in this duality that we have to get out of. And in the midst of trying to work all that out, we're messing with the planet, we're messing with the animals, we're messing with all these sentient beings that continue to forgive us and kind of just let us do what we're doing to work out this human existence.
Yeah.
And then, so you pass on, you go to the next life, you become an animal, and as an animal you have the intelligence, but your basic needs kind of take over, but then you still have family and structure. You've seen that in ways that you communicate, right?
Absolutely.
So they still have their family dynamics and their disagreements and things like that. But animals, while they retain trauma just like any living being would, they don't seem to hold massive grudges in the way that human beings can. Does that make sense?
Well, that's been my experience, that there is residual hurt from the past.
Sure.
But many of the animals I've worked with are, when they get that they've got a new life and they can close the door on that.
Yeah.
They're ready to move forward. Where we're still humans, we're like, oh no. Yeah. No, I can't forgive that.
And I need restitution. Yeah, you need to say you're sorry. And it needs to look like this in this pretty little bow and box.
Yeah, so animals are just like, I got a new life. They're going to feed me. They're going to take me out and walk me. They're going to,
that willingness to release. And so that's the next stage, right? Yeah. Now consider plants, right? So you pass on as whatever animal you were, and even maybe take on a sacrificial stance, depending, if you're a prey animal. And so then moving into the plant kingdom, and you become this being that now has, you can't move if you want to. You can't, you have to communicate through your roots in the ground. You can't make sounds, you can't scream, you can't cry for help. Any trauma that you sustain can be seen on you, but now you have the ability to regenerate things as well. So you've lost some things, but you've gained much more in your ability to communicate, and now you are fully anchored and connected to the earth where you started, where your soul's journey began. And so now you have this, like, you can manipulate the planet any way you see fit, really, as a plant. And I know it sounds silly, but they have their own consciousness and their own...
We're learning about that, aren't we? The mushrooms and the trees have their roots over...
And they connect and they want each other of different things. Yeah. And even going back to that sacrificial moment as an animal, think about the flowers that we have. Like over in the corner of the room, I have these beautiful roses. And they've been with me since January 1st, and I'll do a live on them later because I'm just amazed at their energy. But they have taken on the form of a rose to bring through the highest vibration of love, because that's what roses are and their smell is. And then they bring that to you as somebody gives you them. And then they share their beauty as they live. And then they're okay, I believe. Maybe others have different thoughts, but they're okay with just sort of wilting, and they come into, you know what, I lived my purpose, my life, and now on to the next thing. And plants don't hold on to those things. They die, they come back, or they, die and that's the it. But they don't linger the way that we do, the way that we have this fear of nothingness after this existence. Anyway, that was a great and long tangent on why I think that the human existence is the early stage, and then we move into the plants. I'm happy to hear, let's see, Morgan Rogers and returning back to the earth. Yes, with the plants once they die.
Yeah.
And then we start the cycle all over again. I am not the end all be all, and I am open to anybody else who wants to comment on this and share their background. And that was a really long tangent, and I thank you for being patient with me as I've thrown on, because I have many of these things. But let's take it back to the animal kingdom. So. And if you're joining us, I don't know if it's possible, but if there's a way for you to share your pets with us, would love to see them. I'm not a technology person. I don't know how lives work.
Yeah, we're not sure about that. But
we're just trying this for the first time. But if there's a way for you to
animals,
comment with a photo, I don't know if that's a thing, or perhaps we can, maybe if you chime in, you raise a hand, something, I don't know. Maybe we can, I think there's a way to have them join us, and maybe you can ask a question about you or share a quick experience about your animal. So anyway, I'll wait to see if we get any takers on that. Yeah. And but anyway, continuing forward. So Reiki was the beginning.
Yep. It was.
And then you moved into animal communication, and now you work at an animal hospital.
A veterinary, it's a holistic veterinary clinic. Yes, yes.
Could you share that name with us?
It's the veterinary. Let me get it straight.
It's Dr. Cosin,
right?
It is
Dr. Cosin, Veterinary Holistic Center in Springfield, Virginia.
Yeah, Dr. Cosin, I've heard, so I worked for a veterinary clinic before all of the woo-woo, and then amidst some of the woo-woo. And I heard nothing but great things about Dr. Cosin. So, and to have a veterinarian be open to that level of energy and to that level of sharing is quite remarkable. I think
I'm actually honored, because he has a number of really good people there. The doctors who do acupuncture, and some and he does Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Some are focused on cancer and other things, and they've got a physical therapist, and they've got a massage therapist, and I'm sure I'm missing a few things, but what's really nice is it's an adjunct to the regular vets we take our animals to. It's another place to go and get another way of helping our animals stay healthy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And when you think, and Morgan, if you'll bear with us, perhaps I can bring you on to the live, and that way we can see your face. Maybe you have you can turn your camera to your pet if they're there with you, or if you have a photo, but just bear with us for a second, because I really want to talk about this veterinary experience. So veterinarians tend to work with symptoms. I think veterinarians, again, personal opinion, but they can be a little bit more advanced than, say, regular doctors, because they've got to work with these beings who can't talk.
Yes.
And they have to go off of symptoms and lead symptom to diagnosis, rather than this verbal, yes, this is working, no, it's not. It's okay, we've got to try this and give it, antibiotics can take 14 days to really see a change. Right. So you're in a position to offer them just a bit more guidance and help, not from a stance of oh, I'm the communicator but from a stance of, hey, perhaps try this.
Yep, I'm getting there. What my strongest gifts are finding out if there's pain, where it is, and where different sensations are that tell me that there's an issue somewhere.
Right.
So I'm working on my medical intuition to improve it, so
Nice.
that I can really provide information. But I have been validated a few times about where there are issues.
Nice.
I found a tooth issue in a dog that the first vet had missed, so she took him to another dog, and he looked a little closer and saw that the tooth had died and still looked good on the outside.
Nice.
Yeah.
So and again, I love what you said about this is an ad. This is not replacement for. So I think that's something to say of any maybe intuitive gift, is that we're not out here trying to replace these things. We're trying to enhance them.
And the other part that I love that I can do is enhancing, is when you're going to have them endure a medical procedure.
Oh.
I have told the dog, it's the knee, I think it's either ACL or MCL surgery, where the dog loves to run, back knee screwed up, gotta.
Is it the cruciate surgery?
Possibly.
Okay.
And so I was able to say, look, Sadie, this is what you're going to go into the they're going to do some things to you, and I talk to the body, and then when you come out, you're going to feel like crap, right? But you're going to go home, and you're not going to be able to. You're going to start with not walking at all, and then walking a little, and so she's a dog that loves to run. But I said, if you do this, you'll be back to running.
Oh.
So she was very cooperative.
Wow.
Very cooperative. And I've done that, with a horse also, to explain to him why he wasn't out with all the other guys running around like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful.
Yeah, what that must offer to their psyche, because we do all these things to animals where, it's like here, and I, again, not a judgment of anyone, but what I think one of the hardest things for me to have ever seen was for an animal to go through chemotherapy. That is such a hard and rigorous treatment.
Yeah.
And to introduce those chemicals into the animal, they have no concept of that on a basic level, on an instinct level, and so all they know is pain and.
So and I talked to a dog, one of my client's dogs, because she was getting some radiation, and said, told her what was up and why, and that her person loved her, and and this was so that she keep you on the planet longer, that it's going to get worse, and and sending a little energy for the pain, because and then what levels the pain at, so maybe if she needed to up the meds, she could do that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
what a remarkable gift.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and just talking about service. Can we cure your cat's PTSD after an emergency vet visit? That is an interesting question. What are your thoughts?
We can. Oh, I'm so sorry. We can certainly work on it. I have worked with animals who've been. My own dog had PTSD, and a lot of love, and actually hearing from their point of view about what it felt like, and finding out what emotions are still stuck, and then helping them to release it. I mean, even telling them things like, chances are that's never going to happen again. Like, they can relax, right? It's like, this is not going to be a normal part of your life.
Okay.
And if it happens again, we'll tell you why. That seems to release a lot of the trauma, because it's like, oh, it's a one-time thing. Okay. All right. Bodies even hold, because they don't. On a cellular level. So you do it at the body level, and you do it at the cat's consciousness, and it can help. It really can help, and explaining why.
What a dynamic gift you have. I'm glad you said consciousness, because when tapping in, it takes being able to manipulate your consciousness and your vibration to align with theirs. And so you can do dogs, cats, horses. You talked about a squirrel. You mentioned, like different animals just being out. I mean, gosh, Wow.
Well, yeah. My funnest one is my nephew's caterpillar.
Well, I'm going to stay away from the bugs. If any of you joining us know me, I am not a bug person, and will not talk to them. I won't. Don't come. Don't drop from the ceiling. Just stay out.
Well, we did communicate with her, and we got her a better life.
What would a caterpillar have to say?
Well, she was born out of her tree.
Okay.
He had put her in a little glass jar, like a mason jar, with one stick and one leaf.
Whatever kid does. They eat leaves.
Yes. So, I mean, literally, her little teeny weeny poop balls. She's pushing them around because she's got nothing to do.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we went on a nature hike, and we got her tons of different leaves, and we put more sticks in there. And he said that she doubled in size. So.
All right.
I mean, she didn't have a lot to say, but we made a better life. Right?
Yeah. You know what I would love? We have to plan this. I would love this. So when we have a pond here outside of Crystal Cognizance, and if there is an opportunity once it thaws, so all the animals in there, they hibernate over the winter. Turtles. So you never have to worry that you're going to come and find floating fish. They go settle to the bottom. It's dug deep enough that they do fine. And so perhaps one day we could have you talking to them. I would love that. I love those turtles so much. We have sweet. Giant koi, and you can't tell with my hands because it's a live video, but they're enormous. And we have a snapping turtle.
Oh, wow.
That I have nicknamed Old Snappy.
Old Snappy. I love it.
And he's an oddball. He's very timid. He came out of the water one time during a full moon, and I felt that was appropriate because weird things happen on full moons, right? So, but I would love to know what's going on in their mind. Yeah. I mean, the turtles, they just multiply and multiply. There's fish in there. There's koi, like I said, giant ones, and then the snapping turtle. I would love to know what's going on.
We could have a lot of fun with that.
Oh my gosh, we'll have to plan that for the summer.
Okay, all right.
So let's kind of switch things up here, see what comments we have. I apologize, I've just been, like I said, blah, 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 talking. So perhaps maybe we can bring Morgan on. Animals are ready to let go. They do not have much. Yes, you're right. Absolutely right. So Morgan was commenting. I don't know. You guys can probably see it. They don't have much stuff. So I'm going to try to bring Morgan on here. Request to be in your broadcast. Oh, okay, Morgan. I think you can request to join us now. I don't know how this works. Is there a button for you to click if you can hear me, or if the time? I know there's a time delay, I think. So, anyway, hit that button and then we'll see what we can do. Not able to. Okay.
Let's see what we do. Not able to do.
Let's see. This may be something to figure out for another time.
Okay.
Add viewers buttons are not working. No viewers to invite yet. Okay, well, I'm sorry.
We tried.
Oh, you're not able to because you're around family.
Well, that's a good reason.
That's fun.
That's a good
No
reason.
worries. No worries.
I gotta tell one funny story.
Yeah, please do. Please.
All right, this is not exactly an animal communication story, but it's funny anyway.
Okay.
Because it talks. So one of the side effects I have, talk about being a medium, is sometimes spirits come through. Mm-hmm. A couple of things happen. Sometimes as I'm waking up, I'll see animals that I haven't met yet, and I'll meet them later. Oh, no. That's a lot of fun. I saw a little Scotty today, so I'm excited to see when I'm going to meet the Scotty.
Oh, they have such bad attitudes, I've heard.
Is that right? My girlfriend has Scotties. So she would. They're very feisty animals, yes.
Nice.
But what happened was...
somebody wants to join us, but please continue.
Yeah, come on and join. So
bring it in during the
my father-in-law, Charlie, passed away, and his wife, Betty, took the dog, Sarge, and the kitty, Midnight, to her daughter's house. They lived in Charlottesville, and now they're in Stanton. And those of us who live in Virginia kind of have an idea what it is. So he came through one night, and I knew because all my animals, at the time I had 4, they were all like, wah, wah, wah. And I get this slate that says, Sarge. And I'm like, what? And I think, who? Sarge. Oh, it's the dog. So I knew it was Charlie. He went to Charlottesville and Sarge wasn't there. And yeah, so I said, look, Betty took Sarge to Diana's house. Go to Stanton. You know where it is. Go over there. That's where he is. So he found him. And I told Betty later, and this is what makes me laugh. Betty and I both laughed because he wasn't looking for Betty. He was looking for the dog.
Oh, right.
So,
right. The stronger connection.
Yeah,
it's like, my baby.
Where's my dog?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to have Lori join us,
Yep.
and it didn't seem to work.
So sorry. We'll keep working on it, Lori.
I love your videos, by the way. So Lori Lee has like a doggy daycare. And she's always posting these awesome videos of them playing and interacting. And and it's probably just me, I don't know, but maybe you can validate. You can see like what's happening, the dynamics. It's almost like watching Animal Planet, Yeah. And like being able to see them communicate back and forth, and they'll kind of huff at each other. Then from there, they'll, whatever they're going through and talking and rolling over and playing. And it's so much fun. If you get a chance to look for Lori's Doggy Daycare. Right. And Lori, if you want to post the name of your doggy daycare, it's local here in Woodbridge. So you're welcome to do that. So let's switch gears again, maybe.
Okay.
So I didn't see any questions other than Denise's question. You're welcome to throw things up and we'll try to get to them as we can. But we can change our voices. It's notifying us of things that we can do during lives. I'm not ready for that.
No.
But maybe, so we have these awesome cards. We'll see you later, Morgan.
Bye.
We've got Divine Dog Wisdom cards here, and I thought that'd be a fun little thing to play with.
So I thought, we'd do this and pull a card and see what the Divine Dog has to say for us.
This will be our parting message.
All right. So
I get to pick it. Okay.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Woo it up here. Do the intuitive thing. All right. So.
What'd you get?
You wouldn't believe it. We were talking about this card earlier.
You're kidding.
Breakthrough.
What? I mean, every time it's too weird. All right, so.
It
shows.
All right. So it says be bold. Now, I have to say.
Okay, go for
This is our first Facebook Live through the shop, and I am. I'm not a big technology person, and so I thank you all for joining us. This is me being bold by turning the live button on.
That's right. So be bold.
So how this may be? Let's hear what Breakthrough says. So this is the Breakthrough card.
It's a long one. Let's see. It says if we fetch this card, so maybe this means to everybody who's listening in, it means you're breaking out of some former cage. You may have been tortured by a recurring thought about something that happened to you. Now you've captured the scent of a new trail. I love how they write this, because those of us who have dogs know what we're talking about. A new way of looking at yourself. Poking through that old fence or situation allows you more freedom to move and more freedom to be. When you push all the way through to the other side, you may have been comfortable in confinement, not realizing you had choices to do, be, or want more. Now that has changed, or is about to. So
if I can comment, that I think is relevant to everybody at every stage. So we are about to, we are in this energy field of supermoon and eclipse, all these planetary events that are taking place, right, at any given time. But specifically, tomorrow, Sunday, is the start of the eclipse, and then it ends on Monday. Not to do a cheesy plug, but we'll be having Monday night meditation. So, and at that time, I'll be passing healing attunements, just because the energy is that strong enough for me to do that for a group. So, but it is a situation where breakthrough is possible. Not necessarily the class. You can have your breakthroughs on your own. But I think we can all relate to a time where we needed to have courage to be bold and to make a decision that was uncomfortable, or to cultivate courage just seemingly out of nowhere, because, you know, things had to be done either suddenly or over time. But so I think this is a very poignant card, just because the full moon, the eclipse, these are great times to release things. And that's exactly what the message was.
Yes.
Like, perhaps you had trauma before, but there's no reason to settle into that. Be bold, make the decision to come through, make the decision to let go. Just like we talked about animals earlier, they don't hold on to these things. They know what doesn't serve them and what does. In the moment, it's instinctual.
Mm-hmm.
And the unfortunate piece is that they have these bodies that, like much like our own, hold trauma in the cells. So that's where we start to see issues.
Yep.
But it's not necessarily the psyche. If given an opportunity to release and let go, they do. And so we can take a page out of this little dog who is, I'm going to say the artwork is he's broken through a fence. And he looks like the type of dog that just does that repeatedly.
I think he's going to make it through soon.
But yeah, take a piece out of that. So this card was, take a bite out of that. I'm punny.
You are funny.
So this card was for everybody who joined, everybody who watches. Perhaps this message is for you. Take a note and be bold. Just whatever that means for you. It might be small things, it might be grand things, but just take an opportunity to bring some boldness into your life, create the life that you desire, let go of the things that don't serve you. There's just weighing you down. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for doing this together. This was a lot of fun. We
will be back again.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have Maribeth back. I love passing these ears back and forth.
I know.
Here is Luna. She's 2. She's a mini Rex rabbit. Oh, yes, you were talking about. So we can't see Luna, apparently. We can't see photos. Sorry. We'll plan better next time.
Yeah, we'll figure this out.
But thank you for joining us, Ashley. And
Ashley, post it in my Spiritual Pet People group. Ask to join if you're not in there, and then post the picture, and I'll see.
Do you think you could share that link to this video?
Well, the name of the group is Spiritual Pet People, and so if you just type it in Facebook, you will find us. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. Tell me.
No, that won't work. I was going to say you could send me a message right now.
Yeah.
She says okay.
Sorry. Okay.
Trying to figure out life.
Yeah. Okay, and then I'll look for it. And we'd love to have you join.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next time, we usually have Maribeth here once a month, real quick, before we sign off. We have her here once or twice a month. Actually, this month we'll have her twice. Mm-hmm. And if any of you are interested, we're going to have essential oils for pets next Saturday.
Yep.
So this is an opportunity to meet Maribeth and to talk about essential oils that could enhance your pet's life, ease different conditions, calm them down. And some of the other, what kind of topics do you think you'll cover?
We'll just talk about how I've used them in my life, you know, and we also talk about safety, because you want to know what oils you don't want to use, because most of the information out there is for humans,
right? And
especially, well, dogs have an issue. Cats have a big issue. Little birds and things like that. You just got to be more careful. So
the vet that I worked for was an exotics vet, and we would get these questions all the time. And really, with birds and things like that, at the time and of the knowledge, I don't know where it's gone now. It was just better and safer not to use them around the birds, because birds process oxygen and air more efficiently than we do, which is why they succumb to smoke and all those other inhalations so quickly. Unfortunately, their system is super efficient, and so as soon as the toxin hits their body, that's it. Okay. So it'll be interesting to hear your take on those things next Saturday. And really important, that class is not, hey Benita, that class, next Saturday's essential oil class, is not a sales class. That's not our goal. No. We want to educate. We want to make sure that you're doing the right thing for your pets or expanding your knowledge, but we are not here to promote any particular brand. Like, if you want to do your research on that, that's fine. But
Right. I'm just here to give information,
Yeah.
and then you make just so if you like the thought, you've got more knowledge. You can you can use it safe. You can use them safely.
Yep. Now, if you want to find your oil person, or you want to get into the game of this oil's better than that oil brand, whatever, that's not me, and that's not Maribeth. So we'll leave you to that research. But at the very least, you'll start with some knowledge.
Yep.
So that's next Saturday, Essential Oils for Pets, and then be on the lookout next month. I would love to do another messages circle with you.
I would too. I really enjoyed it last.
All you got to do is bring pictures of your pets. It can be on your phone. It can be on, if you print out pictures anymore.
There's something to do.
I know.
They're usually around
the dark ages of photos.
What
What do you mean you can hold them? What? But it's not on your phone. If you know me, I like joking. So, anyway,
right.
You bring a photo of your pet, and Maribeth taps in and can answer all sorts of questions. And what I love about her is she doesn't go beyond the scope of what she's capable of. She's not going to promise you the world, but she's going to give you what she can. And I believe we saw last time you are able to. Because you're connecting with them distantly, there are some surprises in store for the individuals when they get home, as the animal has been interacted with, and they're like, there was a strange lady in the house and you weren't here.
I had somebody who was supposed to be on my Fur Buddy Healing Circle Monday, and she forgot, and she came home from yoga, and her husband said, "What the heck is up with the dog?" And it's like, well, he's been waiting for you for an hour to get on the call, So we did. They know.
Oh, so you do calls as well?
It's
healing circles.
Yeah, I do a Zoom healing circle once a
Nice.
month where I get 6 animals together. We do a little bit of communication, and then a group healing for the people and their animals.
How does one become a part of that?
My website, sacredgrove.com.
All right, yes.
Yeah,
sacredgrove.com.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
So that's awesome.
Thanks.
It's opportunity for you to connect with Maribeth outside the shop. First and foremost, I don't own Maribeth, so you don't need to go through me to get to her. And so if you want to reach out to her, I highly recommend it. She's amazing. Her energy's awesome, and she's very accurate with what she's doing. It's from the heart. So if you get a chance, connect with her. And we have Essential Oils class next Saturday, and then we have we'll talk about dates, I guess, for the next circle. Yeah, and really, guys, she is like, next week's class is $10. Come on, $10 for an hour of your time. Really.
It's really good information. I'd like to get it out there and like to share it with you. So that's you got the ears.
Okay. Yeah, I've got the ears. I love this makeup. If I could do this outside of Facebook Live, but I'm not a makeup person either. So anyway, we'll get you guys the information that you're looking for. If anybody has questions about how to reach Maribeth, let me know.
Debbie Keevan, how are you?
Hi. If you have additional questions, if you have anything, if you thought essential oils were bad for cats, you may need to...
Yeah,
Denise.
There are some on the don't use them list. Don't use that list. But there are others that you can try. I've got cats at home, and I've been using some. Anyway.
We'll talk.
Thank you.
Talk. So anyway, thank you for joining us. This was so last minute, but I appreciate everybody who came, went, stayed, saw, heard, interacted. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you, I guess, next Saturday. Maybe we can do like a quick little spot.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hitting the finish button.
Me too.